What's going on YouTube? Uberman here. So today we're going to discuss setting up a used tank and some of the pros and cons of purchasing a used tank. So let's start out with the biggest pro of purchasing a used tank is that you can get it at a ridiculously cheap price compared to new. This tank right here with all the accessories and fish, everything, 139 gallon, cost me $200. I traded for a PlayStation 4 that I purchased for $200. So, huge pro there. Now, a huge con is typically you're going to have to help disassemble the tank, move the tank, and you're going to have to deal with whatever was left behind by the previous owner. Now, in this case, I'm not upset at all about it. Any tank you get used is going to need a thorough cleaning. That's another con. A new tank you still have to clean, but you don't necessarily have to scrub the whole thing down. Now, a lot of you are going to be wondering, why would we want to clean the tank? Well, truthfully, I want to start with a fresh tank. Alright, it's never going to be as clean as when it's brand new, but clean it to the best of your ability so you have a nice, fresh platform to start with. For me, I will be getting rid of this gravel. I'm not a big fan of gravel. I'm a fan of sand. That's what I use in all of my other cichlid tanks. And that's what I will be going back with in this one. So, whether or not you're going to reuse the gravel, nothing wrong with using gravel. That's perfectly fine if that's what you choose. Personal preference, you're still going to need to scoop out all that gravel. Here's what I'm going to do. This tank is big enough that I can use a bucket. I'm going to stick a bucket in here. I'm not going to do this whole thing for you because that's just a waste of your time. Scoop it up. Find another container to put it in. I'm going to probably put this in a bag in case I want to use it at a later time. Now, the reason you want to scoop up your gravel, even if you're keeping it, is look down there, guys. It's nasty. That's dirty. And that's just part of the nature of dealing with fish and fish tanks. For $200, I'm not going to complain. All right, I'm going to have to do some cleaning. Another con of getting a used aquarium and or stand is that there may be hidden damage that you didn't see when you first purchased it. As you can see here, full disclosure, you know, $200, I'm not upset. Let's see if I can get a better angle on this. There we go. It's not a horrible chip. It is not a chip that I feel is a danger to my house. I would have taken this deal anyway, to be quite honest with you. This backdrop, I took it off because I'm flipping it backwards. I like the other side better, and it was taped on, and it was a little, I don't want to call it sloppy, but it just wasn't the way I like to do it. I like my backdrops to be nice and even. I try not to use tape unless I have to, and that'll be something I cover later on in this video of setting up a new tank. But it was covered up by the backdrop and taped up, which I took a razor blade and cleaned up the sides, got the tape off, and that's when I saw this chip. And as far as I'm concerned, that chip is fine with me. Now, I'm going to show you what I've done so far. I cleaned half of the top of the tank. Now, this is strictly cosmetic. You don't have to do this, but I'm somewhat OCD. I'm not actually OCD, but I am somewhat OCD about cleanliness. And I know this is a fish tank, and you looking at my house right now, you wouldn't know it because it's torn up by fish. But this is what I've done so far. Let me see if I can clear up the focus on this just a little bit. Okay, I've cleaned as best I can all these tracks. I did use a razor blade here a little bit, which I don't recommend doing because you can scratch that up. Better just use a scrubby pad. I cleaned in here, and I stopped cleaning right here at half the tank. I did half the tank and then left the other half dirty so you could see the difference. These are the watermarks from water spilling here and there and a little bit of algae bloom and things like that. So setting up your new to you tank, the first thing to do is a thorough cleaning. Get all of the gravel out, even if you're keeping it, and wash it thoroughly. Personally, I boil it. Do not use chemicals on your tank, okay? No chemicals, no harsh chemicals, I should say. You're going to use chemicals. You're going to use water. I would not recommend using any type of soap or detergent or anything. So we're going to clean this tank as best I can, and then we're going to come back. Alright guys, so once you've got all your original gravel out, substrate, whatever the case may be. Even if it's sand, you still want to get it out of here so you can clean up the tank, and you definitely want to clean the substrate. Like I said, I'm not going to be using it, so that's not an issue. We're going to put brand new pool sand in here. What I recommend you do, if you're cleaning in the house, a lot easier if you do it outside, but this thing's heavy, and once we got it in the house, we're not taking it back out. Get your hose or bucket or however you're going to do it. Use some water in it. I put about an inch or so of water on the bottom. It's not hot, it's not cold. I'm using warm water. And what I like to use are these scrubby pads right here. These are the scratch-free, the green ones. I've never had any issues with the green ones scratching, but these are specially made so that they don't like scratch glass and things like that. Get your pads out and then start scrubbing. And you know, at the end, by the time you're done, we'll do a video of me finished with this. You'll have a bunch of murky water down there, and then you're just going to use the same thing. This is what I use. I use the Python. But use your Python to suck it out, and then I will rinse. I'll switch it back over, rinse the walls down again, put a few inches down in the bottom, then suck all that out, and then we'll be pretty much ready to start setting it up. Don't forget, if you're going to be using plants and filters that came with it, these are all temporary until my new Sun 704Bs come in. I bought 2 of those and a 5-pound bag of Biohome Ultimate. These are going to be temporary filters. You want to clean all this stuff up too. I'm going to do my best to scrub every bit of it, the filters, everything. I want this stuff as clean as possible. The plants, I don't use chemicals. I use hot water and I agitate them with my hands. I do the best I can. If you really need to, you can boil them. I've had no issue with that, but these really aren't that dirty, as this tank really isn't very old. So I'm going to go ahead and scrub this thing down and get it cleaned up some more, and then we'll come back. Alright, we've got the tank cleaned out. I want to give you guys a little piece of advice to help you out. If you're working on a larger aquarium like this, and it's something that you have to do on your own, you don't have anybody help you lift, real easy, guys. Go ahead and prop one end of this sucker up, throw some pillows under it. That way, as you wash down the walls and you rinse everything, the water will pool down here. You can hook your nice little suction up to the edge over here, the deepest end, and you'll be able to get almost every drop of water out of this thing. Alright, so here we are with the clean tank. This thing looks so much better. I'm very happy with it. You got your tank cleaned out. Now it's time to get your sand washed if you haven't already, and get your stand and tank in place. Make sure you've got room between the wall and the stand for any outlets, any plugs, any hanging filters. Before you put anything in this, get this thing where it's going to go. Make damn sure you've got it where it needs to be. And then get your sand and start putting it in there. So let's move on to washing your sand now and getting your sand in there. Or, as I said before, if you're going to be using your rocks, go ahead and boil those out if it came with it. If you went and bought brand new rocks, then you still need to rinse them because they're very dusty. So you still need to do the same thing with sand. Put them in a bucket, rinse them out really good repeatedly, clean them up, get this thing in place, and then we'll start putting our sand in. Alright guys, so kind of in the middle of all this here. As you can see, that tank is ready to come in. I've got everything disassembled, taken apart, pumps, motors disconnected. Since my fry are going to be moving out of that tank and into this one, I went ahead and just caught them all. And to keep them alive, because this is going to be a really time-consuming task, I got all my babies right here. I used the tank water that they had, filled up this bucket, put an air stone in it, and hooked it up to my little pump. And that should keep them going while I finish moving this, and then we'll come back and see how it's going. Alright guys, so here's what we got. This is how she's looking right now. Luckily, every measurement I made was on point, because this is a tight fit. I made sure I got 4 inches between this tank and that wall, because I do have the back hanging filters at the moment. This one is 2 3/4 inches away from the wall. Next, I'm going to have to put a level on these. You have to make sure your tanks are level, guys. You got to make sure they're level that direction and that direction. Otherwise, you could end up with one of these seals busting out, and it could be bad. The tanks have to be level. I can't stress that enough. So we're going to level all this stuff out. If anything is not level, then we will shim it. And I know it looks like a mess, because it is, but goodness, guys, it's a lot of work. A lot of people ask how to do the backdrops. How you put the backdrops on? A lot of people just take tape and stick them on there. Not me. Not me. I do it like window tint. Guys, I do it like window tint. You spray your glass. All right, first make sure it's exceptionally clean. As you can see, this tank is impeccably clean at this point. Spray the outside of the glass. Get it nice and wet like you would putting window tint on a car. Then take your backdrop, or your background. Spray it, get it nice and wet on the side that's going to stick to the glass. Turn it, stick it on the glass. All right, you want to trim it first, and these things never fit right. Just take a razor blade and cut along the edge, and you'll get a good nice fit like I did on this one. Stick it on there, just pat it on. Tap, 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 get it on there, and then get you a credit card, either a bank card or a credit card, or a AAA card is what I use. I use my AAA card more for fish tanks than I do for towing. And then just start at the top and work your way down the side, and you'll see the water, or whatever you sprayed it with, ooze out as you get to the end. And just do that over and over from the top all the way down, then check for air bubbles and push them up. Push them sideways, and once you get it done, it looks just like this. Gorgeous. Alright guys, I got work to do. We'll be back. Oh, hold on. These guys right here are not happy. Take a look at my babies. Or these are my juveniles, I'm sorry. My juveniles are not happy. They don't look near as colorful. They're pretty aggravated right now. Got a crawdad over there and a suckerfish. Alright, let's get to work. Alright guys, just wanted to take a very brief moment to come back to this. Everything is leveled. Thankfully, nothing really needed leveled too badly. It was off by such a little bit, it really wouldn't even make too much of a difference. I went ahead and shimmed this one anyway because it was leaning just a little bit this way. Not much, I mean, just a hair. So everything seems to be good now. I test fitted my hanging filters. They won't be on there for long, but I still need them temporarily, so I made sure I got enough clearance for that. Pull this one out some. Got some sand going in there. Just coming together, guys. Alright guys, it's now 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm honestly going to bed right now. Alright, so it is the following day. It's actually the day after, because it is now 4 o'clock in the morning. So if it seems like I'm whispering, that is because everybody is asleep but me. So let's go over what we've got here. Got my 75-gallon. Got a bunch of happy fish in here. These guys aren't going anywhere. These guys are doing just fine. The wolf cichlids are getting along with everybody so far. I know that this is temporary, and I know how big they get. And I will deal with that in the future, whether that means selling them or getting a 300-gallon tank and maybe a bigger house. Let's move in to the room that's really had the most work. There she is, guys. Pull this out of the way real quick. So starting over here with the 20-gallon, we've got Mama Fish, who will be spitting anytime. Anytime now. Then over here, we've got her very first batch of fry, and then a few of the others that I picked up along the way that were about the same size. Look at these guys go. They're loving this, man. We have somewhere in here, crawdad that you never get to see. Over here we have the newest batch of fry from that same mama fish over there. Soon we're going to have a whole bunch more. Beautiful. I think it turned out really well. This tank, the water is still very cloudy. It's going to be a little while before it clears up. There he is. Slick. Here these little guys are. Everything is good. Everybody's happy. Here's what it looks like under here right now. Completely empty, which is just horrible. I did purchase the two 704Bs, which are going to go down here. I just replaced all of my tank heaters. This tank doesn't have a thermometer on it yet. I'll go get one tomorrow, but I noticed today that this is a very warm tank, especially in comparison to the other two. And I try to keep the temperature in these things between 80 and 82. So this tank was really warm, and it looked like the 300 watt heater that was in it was stuck on. So I have shut the heaters. I pulled the 300 out. It has a 200 watt in it now that's not even plugged in, and I'm going to let the temperature gradually drop, and I'll deal with that. I just ordered, God, I just spent $120 on. There's the desk where I make all my videos. But right here on eBay, I just purchased the Eheim True Temp submersible. I got a 75 watt for my 20 gallon. I've got a 152. I bought 250 watts. 150 watt is going into the 75 gallon in the living room. Another 150 is going into the 55 in here, and then I bought a 250 watt for the big tank over here. I got some new lights coming in. I got some new Holy Rock. I got $100 worth of Biohome. There's the two 704Bs. More filter pads, more lighting, more lighting. Yeah, the rest of it's probably car stuff. But yeah, so it's been expensive. This tank is going to change a lot with the new decorations I'm going to be adding to it. I'm getting rid of these. These things are just loud. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but these are going to go away. These are going to go away. This is a Penguin 350. This one's an Emperor 400. There we go. This one is also another Penguin 350. This one is kind of cool. It's got these little spray bars in it, which I'm not sure what they're supposed to do exactly, but there they are. I don't know. I've got an Aqueon 950 gallon per hour wave maker in there. That thing puts a pretty good current through it. But anyway, this stuff is going to change again, and once I get everything changed out, I'll do another update. Comment below, let me know what you think. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Be safe out there, and Uber on.